Welcome to another week of Worse Than 10. My name is Reed Jolly. This is Keith Shutt. And if you're watching this, it means you're not watching the Muppets that you DVR'd last night.
Or you're Harry Reid and you think fantasy football is a lot like Madden football.
You still kind of own people and play with them.
Yeah.
I don't know. How'd you do this week in fantasy? In your two teams?
Yeah, 0 wins, 2 losses. It was brutal.
But this week you lost both?
Yeah. Eddie Lacy out, left early in the game with an ankle injury. That was one of my big bell cows.
Yep.
So that kind of hurt, and then the rest of the team, didn't show up.
I lost all 3 of my leagues.
I also had Andrew Luck in the other league, which is also bad.
Yep.
So 2 main point scorers that didn't give me crap.
I lost all 3 with a little help from Jeremy Hill, running back for the Ravens. Sam Bradford didn't help. It was a bad week for me also.
Bradford's looked bad.
Bradford, yeah. We'll get to him in a little bit. We have some gems for him coming up. Some top stories this week, some things that happened. The Chiefs-Broncos game on Thursday night. That was a doozy. Did you watch that?
Yeah,
I watched that from work at Coaches.
It's a really nice ending to that game.
It was if you're a Broncos fan.
Yeah, my brother was at the game.
Was he?
So I had pictures sent to me during the game, and he was really smiling near the end of the game when they tied it up. But I didn't accept any more pictures after that.
Yeah. If you're a Chiefs defense owner and they were drafted in the top 5 of most leagues as a top 5 defense, they looked good in the first half. They looked real good.
They did.
And then they came out of that locker room and went to shit fast.
I don't know if they looked good or if Peyton Manning just looked bad in the first half, and then Peyton Manning looked a lot better in the second half, and which made the Chiefs defense look bad.
But we talked last week about Peyton Manning and how he has kind of early season jitters and gets better. And we talked about his age, he didn't look great. He threw some short passes, but he got it done.
But let's be honest, the Chiefs gave the Broncos 2 touchdowns. They gave the Broncos the touchdown right before the halftime, which they should have been doing something a little bit more conservative.
That fumble was costly by Charles.
Yeah, at the very end of the game. Oh, that first one, yeah. And then the one at the end of the game was, I feel sorry for Jamal Charles.
Yeah. They gave that game away and made Peyton Manning look amazing. Again, 13-1. Peyton Manning is against the Chiefs.
He's got our number.
Yeah. And again, Alex Smith owners out there. Again, the curse continues. No touchdowns.
Maybe Dwayne Bowe was
to wideouts.
Maybe Dwayne Bowe was not the problem.
Yeah, probably not. The Saints. Drew Brees went down. He is day to day with a rotator cuff. The Saints did not look good. Drew Brees. Is it time to trade Drew Brees or Brandon Cooks?
I wouldn't trade Brandon Cooks. And I talked to you about this earlier. I think Brandon Cooks is going to get a lot of the receptions, quick hitters right out of the backfield on the slants. And he's not, I know he's a fast guy, but he's also a short guy. So if you're going to try to throw him the deep bomb, you also have to go over the safety.
Yes, I think he is the deep bomb guy and a rotator cuff. I've torn mine before. It limits your deep ball. And Drew Brees is getting older. Well, he's not as old as Peyton Manning.
Well, then if you're in a points per reception league, then I would keep Brandon Cooks because he's going to get a lot of 7 or 8 yard receptions during the game.
I don't know. There's talk at maybe time. I don't know. You can get some looks maybe if you could trade one or the other and get some value.
Well, whatever you do, don't take undervalue trade. I mean,
no, definitely don't. Get something good or keep him. It's early. It's week 2. Something to think about.
If it was that bad, I'd be trading Andrew Luck right now because he hasn't really done too much for me yet this season.
You do not trade Andrew Luck.
No.
But you do on the other end, you go fishing for Andrew Luck for sure.
Yes, because he's had 2 horrible weeks.
Yes. He looks like shit. Travis Benjamin, probably the biggest waiver wire pickup this week. Had 2 huge touchdowns from Johnny Manziel.
On 2 looks and 2 receptions.
Yeah.
That's all he got.
That's all he got.
And the week before he had 3 looks, I think.
Yeah.
So it's
a big flash in the pan.
If you want, well, I think so, because if you want to go for somebody like that is mainly going to get most of his stats on 50-yard bombs, the other teams are going to figure that out from watching video.
And people picked him up also because of a punt return.
Yeah.
So I totally avoided him. But does his stock immediately go down because Manziel just got replaced today? The news came in this afternoon. Josh McCown is named the starter again. because Johnny Manziel has lost 4 fumbles in 2 games. Cannot hold on to the ball.
Maybe he should think that it's like a whiskey bottle instead, and he might be able to hold on to it a little bit better.
Yeah. You got to hold on to the ball. When people make pickups like this, and then the guy throwing the ball loses his job, it sucks when you waste a pickup like that.
Yeah.
You got to be careful on the waiver wire.
But we're still talking about 2 looks. Oh, I mean, even if it's not next week's,
and it is week 2, but you've got to, when you make pickups, let's say Matt Jones, that's 2 good weeks of production. You make a pickup like that, that's a good pickup.
It is, but also
Benjamin, not a good pickup.
No,
but it's
just people biting the trigger a little early.
It is. And so don't do that, people. Don't be that guy. This week, week 3 coming up, return of Le'Veon Bell.
There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be
most
very happy that
people's
he's
number
coming back
1 draft pick.
Yeah.
I think he gets a lot of carries. Going to look really good. It's going to make a lot of people happy.
But we're going to have to say goodbye to D'Angelo Williams and his nice hair.
We are, yes.
It was pretty.
It was. And he did well
He did.
in service of Le'Veon Bell. He did very good. Most people probably should drop him and should have picked someone else up. Hopefully, if you have room to stash him on your bench, maybe you should keep him as a handcuff for that number 1 pick.
I'd
if you could afford to keep him.
I'd keep him as a handcuff because Le'Veon Bell is going to be has not had any game time in the last couple of weeks, so who knows how he can pull a hammy.
If you can keep him. Hopefully, hopefully week 1 you maybe could have traded him and got some value for him. I don't know. Let's talk about Tony Romo. Went down, broken clavicle, non-throwing shoulder, on the IR, will not be back till week 11.
He also fumbled the ball on that play too.
Did he? He is done till week 11. That means he will not be back until most fantasy football leagues playoff starts. So he is worth dropping in mostly all leagues.
Yeah.
He is done.
There's no reason to have him on your team anymore.
None. Which leaves you with Whedon, which is worthless. Both W words.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Cowboys just traded for Matt Castle from the Bills.
Who did the Bills get in return for that, by the way?
A 5th round pick. They gave a 7th round pick.
Okay.
Matt Castle got a 5th round pick, which means we got back more value than when we got him from the Vikings.
Matt Castle was probably a 5th round.
We just hoodwinked the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jerry Jones. So, is there any value in Matt Castle if he becomes a starter?
No. I mean, there's probably other quarterbacks that are still available out there that
I
would pick up before.
I would
Matt
rather
Castle.
have one of the fucking Muppets from the show last night as a fancy quarterback than Matt Castle or Brandon Whedon.
Did you set your DVR and watch it?
I did. Okay. No, I did last night. It was actually pretty funny. It's funnier than watching Matt Castle quarterback your team. I'll tell you that.
Or Sam Bradford.
Or Sam Bradford, your quarterback your fucking fantasy team. Jesus Christ. I'd rather get a colonoscopy than go another week with that bullshit. So,
did you see other disappointments during the week?
Yes, plenty on my teams. But anyway, if you're a Romo owner, here's some good ones out there. David Carr, still available in a lot of leagues. Mm-hmm. Guys lighting it up. 2 touchdowns, I think. Or
if Teddy Bridgewater is still available in your league, which he shouldn't be anymore, but if he is, Jesus, grab him.
Yeah, he's Carr looked great against the Ravens, for sure.
Who are they playing this
Bortles looked great.
Who are the Raiders playing this week?
I'm not sure. But there's some good guys out there to grab. DeMarco Murray's got a hamstring he's day-to-day. Eddie Lacy, you talked about.
Ankle. He's questionable.
Didn't get you much.
Yeah.
He's questionable. Playing Monday night. He's got a long week, though, to recover.
Tavon Coleman, the starting running back for Atlanta, is out for 2 weeks with a broken rib.
So
and you're going to have Devontae Freeman is going to be
might be able to get Devontae Freeman. How about Alfred Morris and the Matt Jones?
I called it earlier in the year.
You did. Matt Jones, I think, is going to take that job.
Yeah, Alfred Morris, they might still use a few carries a game, but he's a free agent at the end of the year, so maybe they might use him as trade bait.
They might.
He might end up going to Arizona. You never know.
He could.
So
I don't know if he will. There's Chris Johnson, C2K. And David Johnson in Arizona, and David Johnson is taking that job, and not slowly. Week 2, David Johnson is the bell cow. Chris Johnson's the starter right now, but David Johnson is going to take that job.
Well, the coach said, Arizona's coach said that he, as the season progresses, he's going to get more touches and expect about 12 to 15 touches per game for the rest of the year. Which I don't know. If you're a Carson Palmer, if you have Carson Palmer on your team, it makes you a little bit more happier.
If you have Carson Palmer on your team, you're beating the shit out of everyone
because you're going to be passing every down almost. It seems now.
I had Matt Jones on one of my teams. I picked him up week 1.
Yeah, what happened about that?
I dropped him to. I needed another. I felt like I had to have 2 tight ends.
Not patient enough.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
but clearly you know that. So I have some players that disappointed this week. Some are on my team, but Jeremy Hill didn't do shit this week. Giancarlo Bernard went off instead. Jeremy Hill got benched, but I think he'll be fine. He's a bell cow there. He's gonna do great. By week 3, he'll be fine. He'll get his job back. He's gonna be. Nobody panic. He's the running back 1 there. Nelson Aguilar, you were high on all preseason.
I don't think it's him.
He is one of the most dropped players.
When you got Sam Bradford not hitting you across the field,
he's not hitting anything. Charles Johnson for the Vikings hasn't done shit this season yet. He's one of the most dropped, which I have Teddy Bridgewater in 2 leagues as a backup. It makes me a little nervous.
Hey, going back to the Cardinals, what do you think about Larry Fitzgerald? With nobody was ever high on him.
Big week.
I think. Well,
he did a great job.
He was targeted 9 times. He was targeted 8 times in week 1.
Do not hate on Fitzgerald yet.
Yeah, he's
great
still
veteran.
He's still the main target for Carson Palmer. So.
I bet a lot of people sat him.
Oh, jeez. So there's probably a lot of people that probably didn't get drafted till the 5th round in most leagues.
Oh, probably later than that.
Wow.
Andrew Luck last week, 2nd week, pretty much a goose egg.
Yeah.
But I think he'll come around. Definitely.
Better.
He will. Sam Bradford. Holy shit. If I want to be treated that badly for 3 weeks in a row, I'll just go get my job back at Fox and Hound.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't need it from Sam Bradford. I don't even know him personally. So I could just call an ex-girlfriend.
You're both from Oklahoma.
Yeah. Call an ex-girlfriend and be mistreated 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I don't need it from Sam. So some of the big ads this week, some guys that are heard of. Crockett Gilmore.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Tight end for the Ravens.
Yeah, he did some stuff in week 1 too. I saw his name pop up and I thought it was an interesting name, but I didn't know that he was going to do what he did last week.
Never heard of him.
He's not like a fast guy. He's kind of a big like Mark Bavaro type tight end, but he's going to get those.
If they had a wide receiver with the first name of Tubbs, that would be fucking awesome.
Tubbs.
God, 2 touchdowns, 88 yards. That's awesome. I picked him up in 1 league as a tight end. I'm gonna roll with that. Tyrod Taylor. I've been beating that horse since preseason. 4.4 speed. Fucking amazing. 242 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. It was the Patriots. 43 yards rushing and 1 touchdown against the Patriots. This week he's playing the Dolphins. They're a little banged up. He's going to have big production this week. I picked him up in 1 league to replace Sam Bradford. I feel pretty comfortable with that.
Just hope he doesn't get Ndamukong sued.
I think he can outrun Sue.
Okay.
Dion Lewis. Everyone should know that name by now.
Yeah, he's going to be the premier running back for the Patriots, I think.
I haven't seen Blunt at all. I haven't seen anything from him.
Well, he had the first week where he was suspended in the second week.
I didn't see him at all in the Bills game at all.
We only had like 1 carry, I think.
Yeah, they don't need it. This guy's going nuts.
But again, if you've ever had a Patriots running back in fantasy football, Belichick likes to do.
Yeah.
You never know who's going to be the first.
You never know. So worth a pickup maybe. We'll see. Jets defense, another good pickup. I picked them up 2 leagues. They are playing against Sam Bradford. So another thing, we are doing the DraftKings thing again. this week. It's a 50-person league if you guys want to get into it. It's on our Facebook and on our website. It's $225 total payout. Last week, here's how it finished. I finished 39th out of 50. Daniel finished 8th place. To save time, Daniel, do you want to put a graphic up there instead to save time?
Sure.
Of how we picked our teams?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. And mine was terrible. Daniel's pretty good. And then we have 2 questions this week. One's from Nick Perna via text. A lot of fantasy football owners are dropping Miami's defense because they're playing the Bills. So, it's my writing too. Should I go with another D?
Well, who's going to be available that's going to be better than the Miami defense?
Actually, I had Miami's defense in one league, and the Jets were available against Philly. So I dropped Miami because...
Yeah, but you also cut Sam Bradford, so he's going to throw for 300 yards.
Oh, I know. But not against the Jets.
I don't know.
Miami's defense scored literally 0 for me last week. When I saw the score, I thought, shit, do they play on Monday night? What the fuck's going on? But no, they just sucked that bad. I was dumbfounded. So...
The Bills defense got me 6 points last week.
That's more than Miami. But they weren't great either. I think the Bills defense will show up this week against Miami for sure. But I would definitely go a different avenue.
Well, Lamar Miller is questionable, so who knows if they're going to be starting to run.
I would play week to week. I would dump Miami and play week to week. There's some good defenses probably out there for you to play week to week. Cleveland, you could probably pick up. They have great corners. They're playing Jacksonville.
Just pick whoever's playing Tampa Bay or Jacksonville. Just find out whatever defense is playing those.
There's number 2. Someone we know from Johnson County Adult Detention Center. looking for your thoughts on no names. Looking for your thoughts on a flex position.
This is their one phone call. Was it a text message to you or?
Yeah, it was an email actually. They have computers there. It's 2015. On a flex position, there's more. Don't get kinky. Okay. Do you guys design your team and try to have a running back or wide receiver in this position? Or do you just go week to week playing matchups? I'm trying to decide between David Johnson and DeAndre Hopkins. Well, those are pretty good fucking flex options, actually.
I think DeAndre Hopkins would be a starter.
I always put running back, a wide receiver, and a flex option.
Yeah.
I mean, as opposed to what?
Sometimes there's leagues that have like a tight end can also.
I would never put a tight end in a fucking flex option.
Depends if you have 2 great tight ends, you might. Let's say you had Travis Kelce and freaking Gronkowski.
Maybe then, because you didn't. Because then, Daniel agrees. Because then God, either one of those are great. I'd flip a coin.
Yeah.
I want to know what the rest of his lineup is. Then I'd take the other one you didn't put in the flex, and I'd put it in another position.
I'd still like to see how David Johnson progresses another week. I'd put Hopkins in, I think.
Yeah, mate. I agree with Keith. All right. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week after week 3. Thanks for watching.
All right. Take care, buddy.